Hey there, toy collecting fans and Thunderbird fans in particular. Welcome back to the channel. This is the time travelling toy collector and this is the Matchbox Tracy Island. Not just the Matchbox Tracy Island, but in fact the Matchbox Electronic Tracy Island. This is actually became a very sought after piece in the mid-90s. If I remember rightly. Could be the early 2000s. Because I know there was a further resurgence of Thunderbirds around about then, but this piece it does far more than I expected when I was lucky enough to pick it up. Again, picked it up at a convention, I think in London, and it was knocking about, and it was very reasonably priced. And what surprised me was, to my knowledge at least, it was completely intact. So it had literally every element of it, and it may look at first like a bit of a clunky, there's not that much going on kind of a thing, and we'll deal with that in a moment. I will warn you, I will activate its electronic feature, well, several electronic features. The first one that will kick off will make an awful noise and will require me to then switch over to handheld mode in order to fully explore the various features, but we'll get there when we get there. In the first instance, you can see it's predominantly rigged as an island with the key elements of Tracy Island, Tracy homeland, the happy homestead of the Tracy family perched up here. And we'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see what we have. So we have the overhanging area here that's famously sat over the top of the exit for the launch pad for Thunderbird 2. Here we have the Tracy's main home, and over here is like there's some sort of summer house observation area that's a big circular piece. I will do more overhead close-ups of this so you can see all of the necessary detail. But for the first instance, I really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of this, because some people have looked at this online and have found it to be quite expensive, and they've gone, but it's just a bit of chunky plastic. Yes, it's quite chunky plastic, but it does have an awful lot of playability. So again, you can't see it from this angle, and I will show it to you shortly, although I might go aerial now just so that you can have a real look at that. You can see from the top view down, that is the key elements of what we used to see for Tracy Island, which is, as I say, the circular observation area, the swimming pool, the staircase down from the veranda, and the main elements of their house. And then down here we have this sort of jutting out of the main rock face is where we, spoilers, would normally see Thunderbird 2 emerge. So let me just pop myself back down there. Hopefully that hasn't made you too dizzy. So that's the standard play configuration, but it isn't the permanent one. And so there's a concealed button here, which when you press it will trigger a transformation to the entire set. So there will be bashes and clashes and cracks and bangs, and then I'll move to zoom in on some of the stuff, but I'll let you see what happens when you press it in the first instance. Brace yourself, he says as he tries to press it and fails dismally. Here we go. So there we are. So the top section lifts up and moves out of the way, and various other segments here are then revealed. There's a few manual bits I have to do. So once it's open, I have to flip this bit out and then flip this bit back to there. I have to then, let's come over here, so let's rotate you slightly there so you can see what I'm doing. This then lifts up and where are we? Opens. This should open behind it, but doing it one-handed is quite difficult, so I'll do it with two hands because that's how it's designed to be done. So it fits together like like so. Where else do we have some work to do on this? Let's come over here. Yes, this is fun. So this actually then stands up, clicks into place, and we have Thunderbird 3's launch pad area. And I think this flips up behind it as well, or should do. Nope, I may have made that up. I'm getting confused with this bit, which I need to move here, because under here, brilliantly, we have Thunderbird 1 in situ. So you think you've got everything, not quite, because then poking around down here, behind this faux piece of rock formation, we also have, can't lift it up, here we go, click, a secret launch pad for Thunderbird 4. So this has, as you can see already, tons and tons and tons and tons of playability. So you have Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 2, you have launch for Thunderbird 3, and down here we have Thunderbird 4. Now, I love this because, again, from a suspension point of view of play, I don't know where to start. I can flick this switch and we have the palm trees move aside to allow Thunderbird 2 to come forwards. We can see over here Thunderbird 2 with its variety of pods. What I can also do here, there's a small rotating element there which will allow me to move the pods along, so we can decide which of the pods is the right pod for the mission that we're going to send Thunderbird 2 on. I think that's fantastic. There are also some sound clips here.
Alright boys, Thunderbirds are go!
And again here.
Thunderbird 2 to base, ETA 5 minutes. Standing by in Thunderbird 4!
So all of that's going on, so it's very, very nice. I know we have Thunderbird 4 down here. Cute little figure, very nice little replica of Thunderbird 4. For some reason, Thunderbird 4 was always my favourite, I think because it was heavily underexposed in the series. But yeah, I'm just going to close that again, because also I want to show you something over here, and I might need to turn on a little bit of additional light so that you can really see what it is that I want to show you. So bear with me, it may flare slightly now. But I just want to get under there, and there you can see Thunderbird 1 in all its glory. And there's another little rotating section there, which when I pull on it, when I rotate it, it actually brings Thunderbird 1 down on its launch bay. So it's, you know, quite a bit of manual work on my behalf. It's exhausting. But it ultimately moves it down into position and brings it underneath the swimming pool area, which is above it now, over there. And you can see that just in shot. You can't see the full effect of it, but if you move this diving board, you actually can open and close the swimming pool to allow Thunderbird 1 to blast off. Similarly with Thunderbird 3, it can blast off directly through the summer house and off to its missions in space, or with Thunderbird 5. Similarly, the pods can go up and into Thunderbird 2, and then you can release Thunderbird 2 and it can come rolling down here and launch onto its various different missions. So I'm going to pull back again slightly just so you can see the extent of Tracy Island from that initial clumpy bit of plastic. If you recall, this is what it looks like now, and I've touched on several of them, but there are several more play features that are here and available for people for you to access. And I think this is phenomenal. I think in terms of the design, I think it's absolutely excellent. I think in terms of the level of detail, I think it's superb. And the fact that it's so well self-contained within that initial island landscape, I think is just phenomenal. So I just thought I'd do a deviation from some of the routine elements that you may have seen reviewed previously on the channel, to look at this, because again, Thunderbirds, it's a Gerry Anderson production, as I'm sure you're mostly aware, with a lot of puppetry. Well, actually mostly puppetry, all puppetry. I'll get 100% puppetry in Thunderbirds. There was a live action film directed by Jonathan Frakes, who played Commander Riker in Star Trek The Next Generation and the associated movies. What a wonderfully integrated universe it all is. But this is very, very much rooted in the original Thunderbirds from the 1960s, and the sound clips, I think I'm right in saying, are from that series as well. Detailing, I think it's great. The illustrations and the stickers around the periphery that forms the backdrop for this playset is amazing. I honestly couldn't believe my luck when I found this at the con and snapped it up. Really, it was a bargain. I don't know quite what the resale value of this would be now. I'm certainly not currently looking to sell it because I think it's a fantastic talking point. And if you are a lover of all things Matchbox and all things Thunderbirds and all things Gerry Anderson, this is a real key piece to track down and to have. I would say that it's not to scale with some of the other separately released Thunderbirds figures and Thunderbirds toys that were produced, particularly thinking of the Matchbox / Dinky, I can't remember which it was, Thunderbird 2 model that I think was first launched in the 60s and then was re-released in the 70s. I know it was definitely re-released in the 70s because I have one, but mine is more turquoisey with a Thunderbird 4 in its pod that doesn't actually say anything on it. It's just, I think, yellow with a red stripe, but I love it. But that might be where my love of Thunderbird 4 came from, because I'm a bit weird like that. So yeah, it's a double layer, well actually technically multi-layer playset, electronic, some phenomenal detailing, some very, very, very clever use of very simplistic technological elements to get it where it needs to be in terms of its high level of playability, but to also incorporate, you know, most of the key Thunderbirds figures. You can't really incorporate Thunderbird 5 because, let's be honest, that's on a space station, so that's never going to work. And Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce doesn't really work in this particular context, but if they did have it, it could be parked up over here potentially. But no, this is a piece that really, really caught my attention. I wasn't sure how much fun I was going to have with it. I certainly didn't expect to have the fun that I did have with it. So I just wanted to share it with you all to let you know that if ever you get a chance and Thunderbirds are your thing, let's just reopen this so we can give Thunderbird 4 another airing before we say au revoir to Tracy Island. Yeah, if ever you get the chance, and this is the sort of thing that you think you might really enjoy messing about with, and there's a lot of scope to mess about with this, there really is, then do please feel free to drop a comment and let me know whether, again, this video, much like others, has ignited your interest in this, or perhaps you weren't even aware it existed, or maybe you'd heard of it but had no real idea of what was available within the context of the set. I'm conscious that I'm keeping it moving around, but I think it's just so much to take in. I'm very keen that you get a chance to have a look at all of it. It's the sort of thing you want to come back and look at twice, because there's just so much going on in so many different places. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna sort of leave it there for now, because, you know, there's not much more I can tell you about the wonders of Tracy Island. I think it's a phenomenal playset. I think you don't need a huge lot of space to play with it or display it, but it feels like you do. if that makes sense. It feels really, really huge, and actually its footprint isn't that massive. So I think that's a winner as well. So, as I said, if this has enticed you to explore the options to possibly find and purchase Tracy Island, do let me know in the comments below. If you've decided that having seen it, it really isn't something for you, let me know that too, because, you know, I'm always interested in the opinions of other people. If it's been in any way, shape or form interesting or useful, do please hit the thumbs up, and a sub to the channel wouldn't go amiss either. And if you are subscribing, you may as well turn on the notifications so that you never ever miss an upcoming video. Alternatively, you could also go over and see some of the toy photography that I have on my Instagram page, which is at the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and maybe give that a follow if you prefer, or in addition. You know, live dangerously. It's only social media. Okay, thank you very much for your time today. I have been the Time Travelling Toy Collector. You have been a fantastic audience. This has been Tracy Island, and this is me saying FAB until the next time. Goodbye.